A Michigan museum's turning 25 and celebrating with something stitched by hand. Hundreds of quilts from all over the state are coming together for one show, each one with its own story to tell.
Yeah, behind some of the most striking pieces, a group that calls themselves the Crazy Ladies Quilting Group. Got a couple of them here with us on the mix today. We've got Director of the Coopersville Farm Museum, Leanne Proya, and Event Coordinator, Danielle Synock. Ladies, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
And congratulations, 25 years.
Yes.
Let's talk about the significance and what you're doing to celebrate.
Right. The significance, I guess, is it started as a tractor museum. And, and 25 years ago, we realized that, there wasn't much interest for women. And one of our crazy ladies, Rhea Mae Hubble, she suggested we have a quilt show. So, voila, the quilt show was born. And that first year we had 73 quilts come in.
Wow,
and
so there really was an interest for this.
And it increased our attendance tenfold.
Wow,
So,
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, this means that the Crazy Ladies didn't start on that day, did they? Have they been meeting every Thursday for that long?
Not quite that long.
Okay.
The group was a crazy quilt class
Okay.
that my mom taught. And she taught it for, 6 or 8 weeks. And then they just kept coming back.
They're like, this is
They never left. So I kind of deemed them the Crazy Ladies, and that stuck because they were originally a crazy quilt class.
Got it.
Okay,
So, which is
wonderful.
a technique of,
Okay.
quilting.
All right, so let's talk about what you've brought in here today and what people will be able to see in this as part of the show.
Beautiful. First, I want to highlight a collection we have we have 13 frame pieces done by Amy Prinz. This is very traditional piece. You can see all the little tiny stitches and all the little tiny.
Hold this
All
up for
done
you.
by
Is that okay?
hand.
Yes,
Yeah.
all done by hand.
See if we can
That's
get a
all
shot
done
of
by
it.
hand.
That's-
And we are fortunate to have her collection, 13 pieces framed that are owned by someone who bought them at auction who brought them in
Wow.
for Amy to be highlighted.
Wonderful.
But
Then you
talking
also-
about traditional, let's move that one
Okay,
out of the
okay.
way.
Here, I
I'll
can take that,
There we
yep.
go. All right.
This is a family quilt that it was actually done by 3 generations. The grandma started it and then passed it down to her daughter, and her daughter brought it in to us and said, when I was in high school, some of the fabric from my home ec classes where I was making dresses are in this quilt.
This
Oh
reminds
my
me of
gosh.
the t-shirt quilt.
So this is a family traditional
How
quilt. This
cool.
is Dresden plate. It's tied, and yeah, it's very traditional. Then you have something like this that Mary Dyke did, and Mary Dyke likes to incorporate traditional and modern.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one, I love her 3D.
Wow.
Little
pieces.
pinwheels over there.
Yeah.
And then the laundry line.
Yep.
The quilt on the laundry
The
line.
clothes on the laundry, the
on
pearls
there,
on the
yeah.
bird.
But Mary Dyke is one of our regular quilters that comes to all our shows and puts a lot in to our show.
Whoa.
Then we have this one is not done by hand.
Okay, but wow.
But this one is done by Doreen Hammond, and she does. It's free. I'm not a quilter, so it's hard for me sometimes. But she has a long arm quilting machine that she guides by hand. It's not
Okay.
computerized
Wow.
or anything. So, but she likes the bright colors.
I love that.
And-
Something more modern, a
Yep,
little bit
and that's-
different. Yeah.
So with this quilt show, anything goes. Anything that is brought into us is displayed, and we always put a story next to it that
Okay.
explains,
the inspiration a little bit and how it was made.
That'll stay with the quilt hopefully forever, because we send it home with the person who brought it in. And this is a beautiful one by Krista Allers, and this very modern machine, long arm
Okay.
quilted.
All right.
So you're going to see an array. We have 176 quilts on display inside the Farm Museum.
I keep touching your quilt without the
wanna use
gloves.
my
Yes, I
I'm
know.
trying really hard not to.
I keep doing
keep my hands to myself.
I keep doing it. Well, I just wanted to show folks
I
that
know.
I know.
the other side of this
Right,
is
well,
just
and
as pretty as the front side.
Right.
Of
You
it.
can't see
right.
the detail in the stitching, but it is
No,
so
no.
spectacular, the detail of it all.
Right.
But you'll be able to see it up close when you're there,
Right.
right? So talk about the opening reception.
Okay, we have an opening reception. All the people who submitted those 176 quilts are invited to Quilters Reception on July 31st from 5 to 7, and the public's welcome to come too. Yeah, and we just have a party. They go through, they read their stories, and they check to see how their quilt is displayed, make sure everything's okay, so we can have it ready for opening day on August 1.
So Danielle, are you a quilter?
I am not a quilter.
Okay.
I work alongside Leanne, and I've
Okay.
learned a ton in the past year about quilting. But one thing that we do want to highlight is the owner, or the lady that created the framed quilts that we have, will be speaking at our opening reception this year. It's a little different. Normally we don't have a guest speaker, but we saw her collection come through the door, and immediately we're like, we need to learn more. People have already been asking questions, and so Amy will be speaking that night with us.
Got a keynote. Love it.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
she'll be talking at 5:30.
Yep.
And I do want to point out the quilt walk through town.
Oh.
That's huge, because last year we had 28 businesses in little downtown Coopersville that had a quilt or quilts in their business, including the library, the fire station, the donut shop, the restaurants. Every place has quilts. And so altogether, there's over 200 quilts in downtown Coopersville for the
Okay.
months of August and September.
Okay,
So-
October 3rd, this ends.
October 3rd ends.
But you have until then, and then to go to the businesses too. I mean, if people want to find out where they are around town, do they
Right.
come to you guys
Yep,
first?
We'll
and
have a
then-
map, a
Okay.
list of all the locations, and the quilt show actually ends on September 31st. The last hurrah, as we call it, we have a live auction, quilt auction, on October 3rd at 2 o'clock. So that is a lot of fun.
Bring your
Okay.
money.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the details. The Coopersville Quilt Show running through September 30th at the Coopersville Farm Museum and Event Center, but also all around town. You want to learn more? CoopersvilleFarmMuseum.org.